Frequent flatulence. You fart a lot. While you might view this as a social catastrophe, it is actually a primary clinical indicator that your internal ecosystem is thriving. A healthy individual, according to U.S. gastrointestinal standards, typically releases gas between 14 and 23 times every single day. This isn't a malfunction, it's a confirmation that your gut microbiome is actively fermenting fiber to shield your immune system. Think of it as a high-performance exhaust system. When beneficial bacteria dismantle complex carbohydrates in the large intestine, they produce essential gases as a byproduct of their labor. If this production stopped, it would signal that your gut flora is starving or your motility has hit a dangerous standstill. A person producing zero gas is often in a much more precarious metabolic state than someone gassing out a room. Consider the sheer scale of this daily production. The average American produces about 1.5 pints of gas daily, a volume sufficient to inflate a small party balloon every 24 hours of your life. This consistent pressure release prevents your intestinal walls from overstretching and ensures your colon remains elastic. It is a mechanical necessity for a body fueled by a heart-healthy diet. Those 20-plus daily events are the only way to verify that your microscopic internal army is effectively defending your gut lining. The grumbling stomach. A loud, echoing growl from the abdomen during a quiet moment is frequently misinterpreted as a simple cry for food. In clinical terms, this sound represents the migrating motor complex, a vital electromechanical cleaning wave that sweeps through the gastrointestinal tract. Unlike the rhythmic contractions used to process a meal, the MMC acts as a high-pressure housekeeping cycle for the stomach and small intestine. This complex only activates when the digestive system is at rest. Every 90 minutes of fasting triggers these intense muscular contractions to clear out undigested debris, cellular waste, and residual bacteria. Without this consistent self-cleaning mechanism, the gut becomes a breeding ground for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, leading to chronic systemic inflammation. The presence of these audible growls confirms that the enteric nervous system is maintaining strict biological order. These waves possess enough mechanical force to displace solid objects that are far too large for standard digestion to handle. This process ensures that the 30-foot-long human digestive tract remains sterile and unobstructed by preventing the stagnation of organic waste. Frequent snacking effectively disables this janitorial staff, as the body requires a state of fasting to initiate the cycle. A vocal stomach is a reliable clinical indicator of peak metabolic maintenance and gut-brain axis health. Salivary surge. The immediate production of excess saliva at the scent or sight of food is more than a reflex. It is the cephalic phase of digestion. This is a sophisticated neurological priming event where the brain preemptively prepares the body for nutrient uptake. Before a single calorie enters the system, the vagus nerve transmits high-speed signals to activate the entire digestive engine. This rapid fluid surge serves as a direct indicator of a highly responsive and healthy central nervous system. Human saliva is a complex biofluid containing amylase, a specialized enzyme that initiates the chemical dismantling of carbohydrates the moment they touch the tongue. The body essentially starts the metabolic process externally to reduce the physiological load on the stomach later. A robust salivary response proves that the gut-brain axis is communicating with surgical precision, optimizing the body for maximum nutrient absorption. In individuals experiencing chronic stress or peripheral nerve dysfunction, this response is often suppressed, leading to a dry mouth that hampers efficient digestion. By the time food is actually swallowed, the predictive neural firing has already triggered a spike in stomach acid levels to ensure seamless processing. Observing a significant increase in salivation before a meal confirms that the autonomic nervous system is firing on all cylinders. This synchronization is a hallmark of biological efficiency and overall neurological health. Post-meal chills. Experiencing a mild chill or a drop in hand temperature following a substantial meal is a phenomenon known as postprandial blood redistribution. This is a strategic physiological shift managed by the autonomic nervous system. To accommodate the immense energy requirements of digestion, the body redirects a significant volume of blood away from the extremities and toward the mesenteric arteries. This prioritizes the internal organs responsible for nutrient transport and metabolic processing. While the hands and feet may feel cool, the internal metabolic furnace is operating at peak intensity. The core temperature remains stabilized at a precise 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, yet the peripheral skin temperature can decrease by several degrees as the circulatory system prioritizes internal homeostasis over external warmth. This vascular flexibility is a clinical sign of a healthy heart and a responsive nervous system that can effectively manage resource allocation. A lack of this cooling sensation after a large meal can suggest that the body is trapped in a fight-or-flight sympathetic state, which inhibits the necessary rest and digest transition. The fact that blood flow moves inward proves that the vascular system is elastic and capable of rapid adaptation to metabolic demands. This tactical maneuver by the circulatory system ensures that the energy from food is utilized immediately for cellular repair. Feeling slightly chilly after dinner is not a sign of poor circulation, but rather proof that the body is functioning with optimal internal focus. Audible joint cracking. Standing up and hearing a series of sharp pops from the knees or back often triggers an immediate fear of structural decay. However, in a clinical setting, these sounds, known as cavitation, are viewed as a sign of joint mobility rather than injury. The noise occurs within the synovial fluid, the specialized lubricant that bathes every movable joint in the human body. When a joint is stretched or moved through its range of motion, the internal pressure drops, causing dissolved gases like nitrogen and carbon dioxide to form tiny bubbles and then instantly collapse. This is not the sound of bone grinding on bone or cartilage tearing. In fact, a joint that cracks easily is often a joint that is well lubricated and frequently utilized. Research indicates that the rapid collapse of these gas bubbles creates a high-pressure jet that helps circulate the synovial fluid, ensuring nutrients reach the non-vascularized cartilage. The absence of sound in a joint that should be mobile is often more concerning, as it suggests the surrounding tissues have become too stiff to allow for pressure changes. Frequent popping indicates your musculoskeletal system is maintaining the necessary fluid dynamics for long-term flexibility. Sudden muscle twitches. That sudden rhythmic pulsing under your eyelid or in your calf isn't a sign of an impending stroke. These involuntary flickers, known as fasciculations, are actually your motor neurons conducting a high-speed recalibration of their electrical grid. This typically occurs when your neuromuscular system is recovering from intense exercise, caffeine spikes, or metabolic stress. It is the sound of your body's wiring resetting its baseline. Your nervous system functions like an intricate electrical circuit, and these twitches represent a minor leak of current as your neurons fine-tune their firing thresholds. It is a signature of an exceptionally responsive and active neuromuscular system that is currently in a state of rapid adaptation. Interestingly, elite athletes experience these twitches more frequently than sedentary individuals because their nerves are primed for near instantaneous signal transmission. The precision involved here is staggering. A single motor neuron can trigger a twitch in a muscle fiber at speeds exceeding 200 miles per hour, all while you are sitting perfectly still. Unless these pulses are paired with visible muscle wasting, they prove your peripheral nerves are energetic and self-correcting. Standard medical guidelines suggest only worrying if a twitch persists in the exact same spot for over 3 weeks. For everyone else, it is proof your nervous system is fine-tuning its connection to every fiber in your body. The sun sneeze. Stepping from a dim interior into bright American sunlight often triggers an explosive, uncontrollable sneeze in about 25% of the population. This peculiar trait is formally known as the photic sneeze reflex. While light and the nasal passages seem unrelated, this reaction provides a fascinating look at the density and speed of your cranial nerve connections. The mechanism involves an accidental crosstalk between the optic nerve, which carries light signals, and the trigeminal nerve, which governs facial sensation, and the sneeze reflex. Because these two major neural highways run in extremely close proximity within the brainstem, a sudden surge of electrical activity in the optic nerve can leak into the trigeminal nerve. The brain misinterprets this intense light as an irritant inside the nostril and triggers an immediate clearing response. This is a hereditary trait that confirms your neural wiring is exceptionally tight and highly sensitive to external stimuli. It is a sign of a nervous system that responds with massive speed to environmental changes. If you sneeze at the sun, you possess a unique genetic marker of a highly reactive and complex nervous system. High-definition dreaming. Waking up with a memory of a sprawling, cinematic dream filled with intricate subplots and vivid colors, is a hallmark of superior sleep architecture. This level of detail confirms that you are successfully navigating the rapid eye movement stage of sleep. During this phase, the central nervous system undergoes a profound metabolic shift. Your brain is not resting, it is performing memory consolidation, a process where short-term data is encoded into long-term storage, while emotional toxins are chemically neutralized. Clinical studies emphasize that a high-definition dream state indicates a brain that is effectively dousing itself in a restorative neurochemical bath. While your body is paralyzed to prevent you from acting out your dreams, your brain's glucose consumption rivals that of a conscious state during complex problem-solving. This intense activity proves your cognitive hardware is being defragmented and optimized. Remembering these vivid narratives confirms that your sleep cycles are complete and your neurological trash is being incinerated. It is a daily certification that your brain has achieved the deep, restorative recovery necessary to prevent cognitive decline and maintain sharp focus. Musical goosebumps. A sudden wave of chills or skin orgasms triggered by a specific chord progression is a physiological event known as frisson. This reaction is a powerful indicator of a uniquely structured nervous system. It occurs when a sound stimulus triggers a massive dopamine surge that spills over into the autonomic nervous system. This creates a physical bridge between the auditory cortex, which processes sound, and the limbic system, the ancient center of human emotion. Neuroscience reveals that individuals who experience frisson possess a significantly higher volume of nerve fibers connecting these two brain regions. Essentially, your neural pathways are wider and more densely packed, allowing for a much higher bandwidth of emotional processing. You aren't just hearing music, your brain is experiencing a sensory overflow that people without this wiring simply cannot access. Research from Harvard University suggests that this increased white matter density is a direct marker for high emotional intelligence and complex information processing capabilities. If a song can physically raise the hair on your arms, it is proof that your brain is hardwired for a much richer, more nuanced experience of the world around you. Contagious yawning. If you feel the sudden, irresistible urge to yawn just by watching this, your brain is passing a critical social audit. This isn't about boredom, it is a direct diagnostic of your mirror neurons. These specialized cells in your premotor cortex fire identically whether you perform an action or simply observe it in another human being. This involuntary mimicry is the biological bedrock of empathy and social intelligence. The speed of your response is a clinical metric for the health of your prefrontal cortex. This region manages high-level social cognition and your ability to read the room. Research confirms that the latency of your yawn reflex is directly proportional to your capacity for emotional awareness. If you catch a yawn almost instantly, your neural hardware for human connection is functioning with surgical precision. People with specific antisocial personality traits often fail to respond to this stimulus entirely. By yawning right now, you have just verified that your brain is hardwired for deep, complex, emotional synchronization. It is the ultimate biological handshake between you and the rest of humanity. Thank you for diving into these hidden signals with us today. If you recognize these weird signs in your own life, your body is likely performing at an elite level. Make sure to hit subscribe to join our community, ensuring you stay tuned for our next deep dive into the fascinating signals of your circulatory and nervous systems.